Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I rise to address the Public Health and Other Legislation Bill as a voice for the thousands of struggling small and family businesses across Queensland who've been abandoned by the state government in their hour of need. At the moment, the financial burden, Deputy Speaker, of public health decisions like hard border closures is falling on small business and their employees. That's not good enough. Dealing with the COVID crisis should be a shared responsibility, and the state government have not been upholding their side of the bargain. With small and family business facing a crisis of which many will not survive, it's disappointing that the cries for help from small and family business have been largely ignored by the state government. Deputy Speaker, I acknowledge that after months of advocacy from CCIQ, business owners, their employees, groups, and I hear the chirping from those opposite, they don't like the truth, Deputy Speaker. Months of advocacy from CCIQ, business owners, lobby groups, the opposition, the government finally caved in and provided some financial grants to some businesses, but considerably more needs to be done. There are over 450,000 small and family businesses in Queensland, and many of those 450,000 are struggling to pay their bills with little or no income. Small business owners are racking up more and more debt just so they can keep going and so that they can keep their staff employed and in a job. Small and family businesses need greater certainty in the uncertain times that they're currently facing. They aren't getting that from the state government. In fact, what we saw today from the Premier,
Member for Buderim, resume your seat. Members, there's far too much noise in the chamber. I'm going to start warning members momentarily. This is your final warning. Member for Buderim, you have the call.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. What we saw today from the Premier further eroded business confidence through her statements in question time. Again, we see the Premier making misleading statements that are deliberately designed to inflame fear and statements that will force more businesses to make the difficult decision to close their doors for good. This bill should contain provisions that require any expert health advice that the Premier and others so frequently rely on be published, so that all Queenslanders can understand the basis for public health decisions that are having such a considerable impact on all aspects of Queensland society. Such a course of action, Deputy Speaker, would allow businesses to develop a plan so that they're better equipped to react to future public health directives, which will inevitably impact their business's viability. Queensland's small and family business owners deserve greater transparency from the state government. Small businesses and their employees deserve changes to public health directives to be communicated more clearly than they have been to date. It is not good enough, Deputy Speaker, that public health directives that implement a lockdown for more than 3 million Queenslanders are not publicly available at the time the lockdown comes into effect. A lockdown of more than 335,000 small and family businesses and the public health directive that will shut many of them down is not available for them to read in advance of the time that the lockdown comes into effect. That is simply not good enough, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, we are 18 months into this pandemic response, and yet the state government still can't get the basics right. Small business owners must contend with a seemingly well-intentioned but ineffectual Minister for Small Business who, on webinars recently, can't answer the most simple questions about what changed public health directives mean for small businesses, and she either can't or won't deliver timely support for small and family businesses. The state government seem more concerned about spin and the Premier's Twitter account than they are about ensuring that small businesses have the information that they need to ensure they can comply with public health orders. Queenslanders deserve better than that, Deputy Speaker. They deserve better than the lack of transparency and inconsistencies that have been on display over the last 18 months. Small and family business owners, their employees and Queenslanders everywhere deserve better than the lack of transparency, the lack of support and the inconsistencies on display. Queensland's small and family businesses need certainty and support as we navigate these uncharted waters. They need actions, not words, Deputy Speaker. So, Deputy Speaker, I call on the state government to support the opposition's amendments today, which will seek to ensure that there is adequate oversight in relation to future extensions to these onerous but necessary provisions, and to seek to ensure that the public and that business confidence is improved by releasing expert health advice for the benefit of all Queenslanders.
Call the member for Hervey Bay.